Here's a Sephardic story. Sephardic story. I think it came from the Ben Ish Chai. I think that's where I read it a long time ago. Anyway, Baghdad. Story is in Baghdad, and a Jewish couple, young Jewish couple, and the man goes to pray Shabbat, goes to pray, and he leaves his wife at home with the child, with the baby, and he'll be back like in an hour or so. And she's sitting and reading, whatever, waiting for her husband. The table is Shabbat table is all prepared. Suddenly, she notices that her baby is coughing, is having difficult breathing. So she tries to check the child, tries to lift him up, comfort him. Nothing happens. So she decides she's going to run to the doctor. The doctor is like 3 blocks away. She knows who it is, a Jewish doctor, and she'll run to his house, or maybe a non-Jewish doctor. I don't know. She'll run to his house and take and so she doesn't really know if the child is sick, if the child is not sick. So she doesn't want to take the child. It's carrying on Shabbat. She doesn't want to carry the child. And so she decides she'll run. It'll be faster anyway. So she'll run to the doctor's office, and then she'll call the doctor and ask the doctor to come to her. So she runs to this. As she's running, she feels someone's running after her. And suddenly she feels, she leaves the child, right? The doctor's place is 10 minutes away. And she feels, all of a sudden, somebody throws a big sack over her. And she feels herself being lifted up and turned around. She's on somebody's shoulder and she faints. She wakes up, who knows how long, a half an hour later, and she's in this magnificent palace, sitting in front of the Sultan. And the Sultan says, "My daughter, please stand up. I'm sorry to have to do this, but you found favor in my eyes. And I have my servants are searching around for the perfect wife for me. I already have, like 5 wives, 10 wives, and you have been chosen as the most beautiful. And it happened from Allah that you left your house, you're walking alone, and now you are mine. You can be my wife. You'll be my number 1 wife. I'll reward your husband with millions of dollars. He'll be rich. He'll have to leave the town, of course, and you will be happy." And she says, "Listen, I'm Jew. I'm a Jew. I'm married." She says, "Don't worry. Your husband will give you a divorce bill. We'll take care of him he'll find another wife, and you'll find another wife. But I must have you." So she says, "Listen, I'm not going to do it. No way. I'm a Jew. I'll live a Jew. I'll die a Jew." He says, "Who's going to take care of your children? You're going to be dead. Your husband won't have a wife anyway. He's going to lose you anyway, right? If you refuse, so what's the point of your stubbornness? And you don't know me. I'll be a wonderful husband to you, and all this and this." She says, "I'm not going to do it." So he says, "Okay, I'll make you change your mind." So she put her up in this big tower, and she locked the door. And they said, as soon as you say yes, you get out, and you get food, you get drink. But if not, that's it. We'll open the door in another, year or so. So she's locked in. So there's a terrible change, a change of events. All of a sudden, everything just turned around. What's she going to do? So she thinks to herself, "Listen, by worrying and by this, it's not going to help. I'll pray to God for something, a solution." So she prays, and she prays, and all of a sudden she notices that there's a window in this to let air in, whatever, in this tower. So it's about 10, 15 feet high, and there's no furniture in the place, just a bunch of carpets. But she gets an idea. She takes one big carpet and she rolls it up and she puts it next to the wall, props it next to the wall, takes another carpet, rolls it up, puts it props next to the wall, props it up. Very hard work. And she crawls up on these carpets and looks out the window. She sees that she could actually fit herself into the window and jump out, but it's like 3 stories up. And so she figures anything is better than being here. And she has to do it fast because if she stays here, she'll starve to death. And so she goes down and she takes another carpet that's there and she drags it up somehow or other, pushes it up. She pushes this other carpet, a smaller carpet, into the hole, into the window, and she pushes herself into this carpet that's already in the hole, pushes it, and she wiggles and wiggles and moves herself little by little until she feels that she's making progress, and she holds onto this carpet because she figures she'll use the small carpet as a buffer and she'll fall down. And all of a sudden, she feels that the thing is tilting out, moving out, and she says Shema Yisrael quietly, and it falls down. And again, she loses consciousness, but luckily she falls into this big sort of a huge bush. The carpet did cushion her fall, and so that there won't be any, and they're not going to open up the door, right, until she knocks on the door and says, she's going to, and so the door to the room, so they'll never figure it out. But she takes this carpet that she had and she runs away. So there won't be any evidence. And she runs away. She runs back with the carpet, and she runs back home. She figures if she leaves the carpet there, that it'll be proof. They'll find her. They'll run after her. They'll search for her. So she runs back home. Meanwhile, her husband came home, and he saw that she's not there. And there's the child. The child must have had just a temporary thing. The child is laying there quietly sleeping. There was no real problem, but her husband doesn't know what to do. So he's trying to think, goes to the next door neighbors. Maybe my wife is here. No. Oh, thank you very much. Is there a problem? No. And he's trying to think, clear his head what's going on. So he goes down to the sea, or to the water, the river, wherever, just to calm himself down. He's walking back and forth, middle of the night, and he notices that there's somebody else walking back and forth. Who is it? The Sultan. And the Sultan is walking back and forth. And so he's walking back and forth. The Sultan is walking back and forth. He said, what's the problem? Said, good evening, Your Majesty. Good evening. He says, is there some problem? He said, yes, one of your people is the problem, says the Sultan. One of your people. He says, what do you mean one of my people? He says, I had a Jewish woman. She was going to be my wife, and she stole my carpet. She stole my carpet, and all my jewels are hidden. They're sewed into this carpet. She stole it from me. And don't worry about it. I'm going to find her. I'm going to find her. I know. So this is, I'm sorry, I hope you find it. He goes back home, and there he finds his wife is asleep. She's already come home, and she's waiting for him. He comes, and he asks her, what's going on? She said, listen, the Sultan kidnapped me, and I managed to escape, and I have this carpet. Oh, carpet, you got the carpet. You ran away. Ran away from the Sultan? Yeah, he was going to, this is the carpet, yeah. That's the carpet. He says, okay, don't worry about anything. It's going to be okay. And they eat their meal. It's almost morning already. They eat the meal. He goes to synagogue. He comes back. Motzi Shabbat. It must be that they didn't know where she lived, because he probably sent people to look for her, but they didn't know where she lived. And anyway, so they opened up the carpet, found all the jewels, the gems in the carpet, and immediately they took all their possessions or whatever. They left. They went to another place. They had all these Jews. They were tremendous jewels. They were tremendously rich. They distributed among the poor. Okay, what's the point of the story? The point of the story is sometimes the worst things that happen to us. This woman was kidnapped. She was taken into the Sultan's room. She thought that was the end of her life. But it ended up that with a little bit of ingenuity and self-sacrifice, as it came out to be the best thing. Because all these jewels and all the gems that the Sultan had stolen and misappropriated whatever from the Jews for all these years, as they came into her possession. So it comes to teach us that sometimes what we think is the worst could be exactly what we need. Have a good day with Mashiach. Now, see you tomorrow at 8:15.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.